At the start of the story, there is a man with horns sitting on the throne. His name is Kim Jang-cheol, an ordinary graduate school student from Korea. Well, at least, he used to be. 'Cause yesterday, he suddenly became the Demon King Kratos, the final boss of the game he liked playing. Well, that's a common story. I mean, bro is not the first person to be sent to a game. Anyway. The aim of the game, Paladin of Blood, which he used to play, was to revive the ancient hero who had fallen asleep. The MC decides to spare us the details, cause telling us something like that would not even help. Bottom line, bro is stuck in a game he doesn't want to be in, and as the Demon King no less. His aide, Zephyros, a level 15 demon, addresses the Demon King, Lord Kratos, and tells him that all preparations for the war has been completed. And that the army is waiting for his command. All the demons are excitedly waiting, and one of the generals of the army, the Prince Vampire, Azurat, who is level 534, is trying to hype up the crowd by telling them their starvation will end with today's great invasion. Their tragedy of being born in a barren land. The pain of having to eat their kind will end today. 'Cause they will make history that will last. They will rip the humans apart. Crush the elves and turn them all into their food. We see the other generals, the Cold Monarch Sergei, level 531, the Archduke of Fog Hartok, level 555, and the Black Boulder Tyrant Ball, level 539, just aura farming among the demons. The Demon King and his aide arrive to give the final command. Kratos yells out, for the demon army to listen up. The place becomes silent, and as everyone listens attentively, Kratos thinks to himself that this war must be stopped at all costs. He declares to the demon army that he, Kratos, orders all of the demon folk, from now on, they will stop their attack. And start farming. The demon generals stand there speechless at the words the Demon King just spoke. But some seconds later, they angrily yell out, "That's absurd." Kratos, with a scarier look on his face, becomes afraid of how scary they look. Bro, if you want to talk about scary, look no further than the mirror. 'Cause the four generals also get scared by him. Kratos knows that if they start this war, the playable character, aged Kimchi, level 9990, will come and he will die by his hands. The system pops up and informs the player that his 20th playthrough has started. Flashback to Kim Jang-cheol before he was sent to the game world. He was a graduate student in a farming course at Korea University in hopes of becoming a rich farmer. He was clever, so he became the top student of his course in no time. But being the top student was not a good thing. Some lecturers approached him to write their thesis for them because he was so clever. Others wanted him to help them with their projects, because he was so good at doing it. Some even asked him to plow the fields. Okay, now these lecturers are trippin'. Bro felt like he was their number one slave. Honestly, that is exactly what people do to others who do not speak up for themselves, they overuse them. All these activities leave the MC exhausted. He keeps thinking about what life he is living. Why is he doing all the work when the professors are the ones getting the credit? He starts crashing out, yelling that he wants to kill all those annoying professors. At this point, bro's dopamine was depleted. He was going crazy. And the only way to get his dopamine boost was to play games. I mean, that is not the only way, I can at least think of one other way. If you catch my drift, leave a like for the video. Back to the story, a game that was super difficult to level up in. No player had cleared this game for 19 times. He wanted to feel a sense of achievement so badly that he turned on his PS5 and played a game without sleep at all. Bro cleared the game the first time, the second time, the 10th time, until he became the first player to clear the game, Paladin of Blood, for the 19th time. After clearing the game, he claims to be happy because now he is the strongest in the world, but looking at bro's face, it seems he has been gaming for at least 72 hours. He then decides to play the 20th playthrough in hellish mode. He decided to level up first before trying it so that you would be the strongest in the world. He picks a fairy princess outfit for his male playable character whose level is 9990. Bro must have been playing the game for years to reach that level. He decides to finally start his 20th playthrough. As soon as he presses yes on the gamepad, a bright light emits from his flat screen, which alerts him, but before he could figure out what is going on, his soul is sucked out of his body and into the screen. His soul reappears inside the game world. As he soars through the sky, he is panicking since he doesn't know what is going on. He tries to calm down and understand the situation he is in. He realizes that since he is blue, that means, this is his soul. So even if he fell, he probably would not die. As he continues to move, he notices a structure in the distance and recognizes it as the Tower of Life from the game. Which means he entered the game, Paladin of Blood. He approaches a building, he recognized as the Tomb of the Paladin. The MC becomes happy since he knows he is going to possess his character from the game, Aged Kimchi. Which is almost at max level. Really? Bro, you could have named the character anything, and you picked a name like that. The MC thinks he is about to start a life of being invincible and strong. Finally, as he is about to possess the character, he takes one look at the abomination he created with his own hands and realizes that he really does not want to turn into that. So the system swerved and bent that corner and headed back into the air to possess the second best thing in this world. The MC is confused at what is happening. When he realized that the system was sending him into the body of the Demon King, he started to panic again. But now it is too late, bro, you messed up big time. Back to the present, Kratos is sitting on his throne, regretting his decision cause this situation is driving him nuts. If he hadn't had that stupid thought after looking at Aged Kimchi back there, he would have become the most overpowered character. What an idiot, bro really fumbled. Zephyros is walking through the corridor and he overhears the demon army generals talking. They think Kratos has definitely gotten weaker. That's why he got scared and stopped their attack. The vampire prince Azurat wants them to join hands to cut off Kratos's head and share the authority of the throne. After all, Kratos became the king by taking the head of the previous demon lord. Hartok asks what if Kratos didn't get weaker? At least 2 of the 4 of them will either suffer fatal injuries or die. Sergei asks Azurat if he can offer to be their shield, then they can give it a try. Azurat gets furious at her for trying to use him as a meat shield. While they are arguing, Baal is just craving something to eat. Azurat asks what if there is evidence that the demon lord has now gotten weaker? Will they attack him? The other confidently declared that then they would kill him. Zephyros hears everything the generals just discussed. He heads to the demon lord, and instead of reporting the evil plan brewing in the shadows, he just reports that the morale of the army has plummeted and that there have been more cases of their people attacking and devouring each other internally. Also, some of the people have left the land of the demons without notice. Kratos listens silently without responding. Zephyros finally reports that the 4 generals are enraged. They say that he has gotten weaker, and in fact, they are planning to work together to cut off his head. Kratos is trampling from hearing this news. He knows if the 4 of them attack him together, he will definitely die, and if he appears weak, he will also die. He wonders about the playable character, Aged Kimchi. Since he didn't possess that body, is it just a corpse? If that is the case, then charging into the human world would be better. Zeph suddenly shows him a video of the Tomb of the Paladin that was sent by one of their generals. The crystal ball shows Aged Kimchi violently bashing a demon who pleads for help. The hero takes it a step further by gouging out the eyes of the demon. This act scares Kratos and the demon. Kratos begins to sweat cause he knows he is screwed if he attacks the human world. The crazy hero will come after him, and honestly, he would prefer not to meet this crazy guy. He must stay here no matter what. At this rate, he will either appear weak or choose to surrender, and the 4 great demon generals will kill him. And if he charges into the human world, Aged Kimchi will gouge out his eyes and kill him. Bro is in a lose-lose situation. Kratos starts crying and wonders why he had to come into the game world. He can't find any happiness. He quickly regains his composure, stands up, and decides that the only way to be safe is to resolve the issue of food and get the demons to calm down. Zeph questions him on where he's going, and he responds that he's going to look for some land for farming. Zeph becomes confused upon hearing what he said and asks Kratos to come again. And Kratos responds with a pardon. He tells Kratos that he is narcissistic, arrogant, and has zero manners. For him to say, pardon, is shameful. That's gross and horrifying. So he should please not do that again. Kratos thinks Zeph is trying to provoke him. He wonders if he was such a character in the game. In the game, Zeph appeared just once before the battle with the Demon Lord without any explanation. But that made him quite a popular character. He had a few lines when he was confronted by the hero before he was eventually defeated by the hero. That was why players thought he was just either very loyal to Demon Lord or really respected him. Zeph tells him that his blunder this time was unprecedented and honestly, he has never met a Demon Lord who has lost that much trust from the demons. Kratos honestly thinks that Zeph is really annoying. Zeph asks him if he wants to farm in the Demon Kingdom. He didn't know Kratos' memory was only as good as a pigeon's. Kratos angrily tries to argue that he is the Demon Lord and Zeph is being too disrespectful, he should not push his luck. Zeph refuses and continues to talk. Kratos just wonders why Zeph is not the least bit scared of him. Zeph continues to explain that the former Demon Lords and himself have already tried farming in these lands but it didn't work because of the harsh and extreme temperature differences he should be well aware of. Nothing grows on these lands, Kratos is well aware of that. He knows this land is called the Land of Death, but with his current abilities, it's possible to save this land. He really hates farming, but he needs to survive first. If bro hates farming, then why was he taking a course on it in university? Zeph becomes confused as Kratos scrapes the ground and eats it. Zeph, ever attentive, writes down the Demon Lord's strange behavior. He seems to think Kratos has now become a beggar who eats dirt. The Demon Lord angrily questions his aide about what he's writing and tells him to stop. Zeph tells the Demon Lord that he's just performing his duties. After all, recording the Demon Lord's chronicle is important. He also tells him that his ability to remember things has definitely deteriorated. The Demon Lord thinks in his head that his aide is such a pain in the ass. He directs his thoughts from him and continues to think of how to make the land fertile for farming. He knows that the ground has zero nutrients and no nitrogen either. Nitrogen is an element that is absolutely necessary for the growth of plants. Plants are unable to make use of the nitrogen in the air by themselves, even though it makes up 78% of the atmosphere, because the atoms form solid triple bonds, making it nearly impossible for them to undergo chemical reactions. Thus, humanity developed the nitrogen fixation process through chemical engineering, leading to a huge increase in food production. And to do that with such land, it's impossible. There is nothing to be used as the foundation for farming. That means we need to make use of the nitrogen fixation mechanism in nature. This is what Kratos thinks. He realizes that lightning is the key. Using its natural voltage, nitrogen is oxidized into nitrate. It then mixes with the rainfall and gets absorbed into the soil. The main technique of the Demon Lord is Bloody Strike, which is a lightning-based attack he uses to fight the hero in the game. It explodes both lightning and moisture at the same time. It's a technique made for creating fertile soil. He asks Zeph to stand back and prepares to begin the attack, which means he has to scratch himself to draw blood for the attack. He screams in pain from scratching his hand and thinks that the Demon Lord is a lunatic for using this attack every time cause it hurts a lot. He suddenly senses someone behind him. And turns to look, only to find the 4 generals hiding behind a tree and stalking him. They soon realize that he has gotten weaker. Kratos is scared shitless after seeing them. And Zeph confirms that he's gotten 100% weaker. Kratos thinks that Zeph is an assassin. His plan was to provoke and kill him. Out of sheer panic, Kratos hastily tries to perform the attack, Bloody Strike, cause at least it is better than dying. He performs the attack, but unfortunately, nothing happens, and his blood just drips to the ground. As he screams in pain like a little kid, right in front of his subjects. The 4 generals confidently approach him with evil intentions and ask if he is feeling well. The almighty demon lord, Kratos, starts to panic as usual. He knows he is screwed. Somewhere far away, we see the playable character aged Kimchi, who seems to recall some memories from his previous lives when he had been used by the MC. He has lived this life more than 10 times. He knows he is supposed to head over to that place. He moved because of the summon of duty that led him there. But this time, it's gone. The summon of duty no longer says anything. Now he wonders what to do with life. Since he has now become an NPC, the most overpowered NPC at that too. Aged Kimchi turns and begins to walk away. The demon lord is still being confronted by the generals. Azurat tells him that according to the rules of the demons, the strongest is the demon lord. Kratos has the scariest face but still thinks the generals are scary, cause each of them is so freaking strong. He can't even use his skill right now. Is he going to die? Kratos is so frustrated that he begins to emit insane amounts of pressure, and even Azurat is frightened by his incredible pressure. The fight hasn't even started, but he's already gathering his strength to the point his body is trembling. These guys are seriously misunderstanding the situation. Bro is scared but they think he is getting angrier. But Azurat smiles smugly thinking he has his whole squad backing him. He asks the demon lord if he can defeat the 4 of them in his current state. Not knowing his so-called comrades have already abandoned him. Azurat mentally questions them on what they are doing. The traitors tell him to just start the fight without them and they will join the fight if possible. Azurat calls them evil bastards. And seriously, what did he expect? They are demons, of course, they're evil. Zeph, who was prepared for a situation like this, starts a live stream for the demon army to watch the fight. Based on the long-time tradition of the demons, all fights are to the death, and there's no giving up. Kratos and Azurat try to stop the fight but are too late. Azurat strengthens his resolve, thinking he can win because Kratos is weakened. Meanwhile, Kratos with an angry look wonders what he should do. Seriously, bro needs to work on his facial expressions. I can't tell when he's angry or holding in a fart. A while back, he tested his strength since the demon lord should be very strong. But he is not that strong. He's strong, but it's nothing to brag about. Azurat charges at MC, who gets frightened a little bit. He knows he has seen that movement in the game. It's either a thrust or a slash. There is no way he can dodge something like that. When Azurat strikes at the MC, he dodges the attack rather easily. Kratos is surprised by the feat he just pulled. He recognizes that when Azurat's left foot is pointing outwards, that means he'll use a thrust to attack, just like in the game. His movements are the same as in the game. Azurat lands after failing to land his attack and turns to face Kratos. The other generals are discussing Kratos' intentions when he dodged the attack. He looked like he was about to counterattack and tear off Azurat's arm. Another wonders why he didn't. So they decided to wait and observe longer. Azurat slashes at Kratos and he successfully dodges the attack again. He is still surprised at how easily he is dodging the attacks. He thinks all of Azurat's movements are really the same as the game's. He remembers when he first met Azurat, he was absolutely taken aback. It was impossible. Azurat's movements were fast, he threw in feints that were offbeat, and even had a wide range of attacks. He really couldn't be defeated. But after dying once, thrice, and 10 times, he was finally able to defeat him for the first time on his 128th try. In the following 19 playthroughs, he was able to completely make a fool out of Azurat by having a no-hit run. Simply put, there's no way his attacks will hit him. Azurat continues to attack the demon lord and fails. Kratos genuinely begins to laugh maniacally like Lloyd Frontera from the series, The Greatest Estate Developer. By the way, the author of this manhwa is the same one who wrote The Greatest Estate Developer, so you already know this manhwa is going to be a banger. And if you have not already seen or read that one, you can go and check it out or leave a comment if you want me to recap that series for you. Now back to the story. The laugh sends shivers down the spines of the other generals, leaving them frightened. Kratos continues to laugh as he skillfully dodges the attacks. And from the poses bro is posing, it is safe to say, bro is not taking the fight seriously. The generals watching the fights think he's having fun. He's laughing at the vampire prince for being weak and enjoying himself. The vampire prince gets frustrated by what the demon lord is doing. He attacks again and misses the demon lord. Kratos thinks it is a relief that the vampire prince can't defeat him, but he has realized something important. This world shares the same rules as the game. Suddenly a system notification pops up, telling the MC that he has realized the basic rule of this world. Kratos is shocked to see the message he frequently sees in webtoons. The system informs him that he has succeeded in dodging his enemies' attacks with high concentration. As Azurat angrily charges at him, the system informs him that, as a reward, a part of the game system that is used by the playable characters has been unlocked. The unlock feature is the targeting function. Kratos is shocked as a target appears on Azurat's face. He knows it's targeting that's used when using special skills. That means he can use his skills. He scratches his hand again to use a bloody strike on Azurat, and this time the attack works. The generals are left speechless. The demon army chants in support of Kratos as they watch the fight. Kratos stands in front of the defeated vampire prince, who is scorched but very much still alive. Kratos becomes angry that he is still alive after being hit by a bloody strike, which causes instant death in the game. Azurat survived because he's got a great recovery system, so he'll recover his energy in no time. So like the evil demon he is, he does the logical thing and strikes him again and again and again and again. And the generals are astonished by his ruthlessness. They think he's attacking him to the extent that the vampire prince won't die while causing him pain at the same time. But Kratos is actually trying to kill him and just failing. In fact, he wonders what to do to Azurat, who is lying on the ground. The system tells him that due to his attacks, he has torn off the vampire prince's clothes and he's now naked. The system might be a pervert because that is a pretty suspicious message to just mention. A new system feature, the inventory's armor removal, gets unlocked because of his attacks. Kratos wonders if there is some kind of good armor in the inventory. But he is disappointed to find the clothes that he's already wearing in there, and he doesn't see anything he can use right now. But first thing is first, he needs to get rid of the vampire prince because he's not strong enough to kill him and his recovery is great, so he will definitely get up after some time. Kratos gets a bright idea: since he's not dead, he can still target him. He can also keep firing bloody strikes at him. So with Azurat, he can infuse the ground with tons of nitrogen. With an evil smile, he declares that he is the smartest. He also realizes that the other generals are now scared of him and decides to test his luck. He calls the female general, Sergei, over and asks her to tie Azurat up tightly. She assumes the demon lord wants her to tie up a naked man because he is trying to humiliate both her and Azurat at the same time. Seriously, these people need to stop reading too much into the things the MC does. Azurat is later tied to a big stick and hanged like a scarecrow. The demon lord's bright idea was to first tie Azurat and plant him into the ground as a lightning rod. Azurat wakes up after he has fully recovered and shouts victorious after his recovery. He tells Kratos that he has indeed gotten weaker. To think he can't kill him with his bloody strike skill. This time he'll definitely cut off his head. But Kratos to proceed to step 2, attack the rod with the bloody strike skill. He unleashes several bloody strikes on the rod. With this, he can oxidize the nitrogen in the air into nitrite. Kratos calls Hartok and asks him to cover the whole area with fog. It has to be so thick that water will be flowing. Hartok thinks the demon lord plans to make the whole place wet so he can make his lightning more painful. What a creative way of torture. He has learned something new today. He begins to release fog and it starts to fall all over Azurat. This is step 3. In Step 4, release bloody strikes continuously on the human lightning rod. As Kratos performs his attacks, he also feels pain because of the way he is scratching his hand. Zeph and the generals silently watch how he continuously attacks the vampire prince, who is too stunned to shout himself. Kratos happily thinks that with this, he can make good ground with nitrogen. He wonders if he will get a bountiful harvest. Honestly, he is getting excited. Bro does not stop attacking his human lightning rod until the hardening ground softens a little bit later. Kratos knows the next thing to do is to improve the soil. This loose monovalent, structured soil neither allows oxygen to enter nor drains water well. For farming, crumbly, granular structured soil is ideal. Now he is going to need some manure. So he turns to look at the generals and requests for their shits. The generals are stunned that after making an example out of Azurat and grilling him like barbecue, he still wants to smear Azurat with shit. This is by far the cruelest thing anyone has ever done. Justice for the scarecrow. Deep in the forest, aged Kimchi comes across some people who need help because they were attacked by a group of goblins. Honestly, these two look like a knockoff version of Lloyd and Javier from the other series. The way Kimchi looks at them scares them. But he tries to reassure them that he is not suspicious or a bad person. But the knockoff Lloyd and Javier still think he looks horrifyingly suspicious. He asks if they hurt their leg or something. And then he picks up the injured person and asks the other to lead the way. The injured character praises Kimchi for his strength and he introduces himself as Envoy Rivage Azrahan and the one behind them as his servant Diol Frontera. Their names are just Javier and Lloyd spelled backward. They ask their savior for his name also. The NPC responds that is what he needs to find out starting now. Back at the Demon Lord's palace, the generals are seriously considering where to get the shit for the Demon Lord. Are they supposed to do it themselves on the spot or something? Sergei is embarrassed by how ridiculous this situation is. Honestly, it is disgusting. Bal explains that it has been a while since he last ate, so he can't go number 2, and Sergei does not poop either. The embarrassed Sergei asks Bal not to talk about her poop. Hartok knows for a fact that even if they can poop, he still doesn't want to give the Demon Lord his poop. So they should just beat up the low-ranking demons and make them start pooping. I already feel like this will be the weirdest shakedown ever. They attacked some villages and threatened the residents to poop while under supervision. The scared demon tells the guards that if all of them are watching like that, then he can't poop, so they should wait outside at least. One of the guards tells Hartok that all the residents said the same thing. But Hartok just doesn't care. He just wants what he came for, so the demon should try harder. The low-ranking demon explains that he has not eaten in a while, so he can't poop. Hartok grabs the villager by the neck and decides to take matters into his own hands and pluck it out of him. As he goes in for the kill, he is stopped by Bal. Hartok is irritated by Bal for interrupting him. Bal protests that piercing the demon's stomach means he will die and they will get no poop from him. They need to poop more so they can collect more. Hartok responds that's smart, considering it is coming from a musclehead like Bal. He tosses the demon to the floor and suggests that if he feeds them with Baal's meat, maybe they'll start pooping. The two stare at each other intensely to the point they start to scare the demon nearby cause he knows it is about to go down. Before the two could clash with each other, Kratos appears, yells at them, and attacks them to stop their clash. After electrocuting both of them, he tells them that humans are not the only ones who can defecate. Back in the Demon Lord's storeroom, he tells them that there's no use for feces with no nutritional value. They need to look for feces that can be used for manure. Manure? Zeph asks him. The Demon Lord replies by saying yes, it's the ingredient that provides the field with nutrients. The Demon Lord thinks to himself that manure is made with wooden ashes, weeds, soil, eggshells, and chicken feces. For wooden ashes and weeds, they can just use those empty houses they saw before. Now the only problem is the eggshells and chicken feces. Oh! Thinks the Demon Lord after coming to the realization. The demon lord tells Zeph to bring him the land map. He replies saying yes, Your Majesty. After looking at the map, he says the map is exactly the one he saw from the game. Which means, he continues, he should be able to find them here once he gets to the place. He thinks in his head the habitat of the demon seagulls. In the game, there are plenty of them all over the field. This shows that the seagulls can ingest a great deal of nutrients from the human's land. And then, they poop and lay eggs there. It's the perfect place. Zeph asks him if he intends to collect the feces of demon seagulls. Kratos confirms his thoughts and points out how quick he is to catch on. Zeph explains that the place is called the cliff from which one cannot return. There are no stable holds, and if one falls, he'll get caught up in the rough waves. But Kratos already knows that well because that place isn't systematically available for players to reach. But he confidently declares that he can climb it. Some time passes and finally, they arrive at the cliff from which no one can return. The generals are wondering what in the world the demon lord is thinking. Many have already challenged the cliff to hunt those seagulls from old times, but they all ended up falling prey to the waves. Kratos tells them, he will climb to the top and throw down the bag when it is full of feces and eggshells. They should make sure to catch them. And if the plan succeeds, everyone will be fed well. His wicked smile honestly doesn't make his intentions seem sincere to them. Baal recalls the suffering the low-ranking demons go through every day. Kratos then stands closer to the waves and thinks about his 13th playthrough, when he tried everything to get up there. He tried over 100 times and failed multiple times until he finally figured it out. He leaps from the ground and the demons await the outcome. He lands on the cliff and uses a glitch from the game, which is to unequip all his armor. The demons are shocked by his actions since he is stuck inside the cliff with just hair and butt cheeks outside. This sight disgusts the demons around watching him. As he turns around to show his front side, Sergei covers her eyes. But what she expects to happen, doesn't since Kratos equips all his armor again. And now this front side is showing with his backside inside the cliff. So the trick is to roll his body and unequip all armor and roll again and equip all armor. He continues to make his move to climb the cliff while the generals watch him. Finally, Kratos makes it to the top of the cliff. He stands at the top of the cliff and declares he has finally done it. A world where the game system is shared, an equipment inventory, and the edge of the map that supposedly no one can ever reach. Putting all of these facts together, he experimented and was convinced that it was possible. Baal said the demon lord said he would feed them all. So he will go up and help him. Zeph tries to stop him but ultimately fails and Baal rushes to climb the cliff. Kratos notices Baal too late, and Baal leaps onto the cliff to follow the demon lord. Kratos angrily yells at him to stop what he is trying to do. But he is too late and Baal slips from the cliff, almost falling to the waves. Quickly, Kratos grabs Baal, preventing him from falling. But the muscle head is so damn heavy that Kratos thinks his arm might be ripped off. He questions himself as to why he is saving this muscle head. He is one of the 4 demon generals, a threat to him, wouldn't he be better off gone? He tells Baal that he has no reason to help him. Looking at Baal's face, it reminded him of a junior who asked him for help back in the university. A professor wasn't letting the guy submit his essay because he wanted to use him as his work slave forever. The student pleaded with him to help him. That way, the professor can at least take a look at his essay. Since the professors love him and he's the best. So the professor might listen if it is him. The MC remembers the guy was a junior who used to follow him around. He also knew since he was the #1 slave maybe the professor might have indeed listened. But he was scared that he might fall out of favor. That he might put himself in a disadvantageous situation. So in the end, he turned down the guy and walked away. He deeply regrets his actions back then. 'Cause maybe he could have saved that guy. So now, he is trying extra hard to save Baal. Maybe if he tries his best this time and squeezes everything he has a bit more to his absolute limits, The guy's face in his memory might be smiling instead. Kratos with everything he has tries to pull Ball up to safety and he even breaks his arm. But was still able to save Ball by throwing him to the top of the cliff. Later when he is nursing his injury, Ball asks him why he saved him at even the cost of his own safety. He had no reason to do that, so why? Kratos tells Ball he did it because the injury hurt less than abandoning his follower. And if he lets him die, he will end up regretting it. These words end up bringing Ball to tears. The scene reminds him of his junior crying. And he wished he could have done the same for him back then. He mentally apologizes to him. He truly regrets not saving his junior. The system appears again in front of him. It states even in a state where he has not fully adapted to the body of the demon king Kratos, he poured all his strength. As a result, he has earned the sincere gratitude of Baal, one of the 4 demon generals. If Baal is truly grateful for what he did. The system states that in honor of his achievements, a system is established where providing his army with a sense of abundant happiness earns him a great number of points. Kratos is still confused as to what the points are for. The system opens the happy point, HP, accommodation system. Happy points, he knows this. Is it something that can get me a discount for ice cream? Is there a place in this world that sells ice cream? The system quickly corrects him saying no, what kind of game world like this would sell ice cream? Kratos is surprised he can converse with the system. The system explains that, for each soldier in the demon army who feels happy from a full stomach, he will gain 1 happy point which he can use to purchase stats. It displays his current stats, and it shows that he is able to use 20% of Demonlord Kratos' strength. He has 20% of stamina, mental strength, dexterity, and magic power. He is currently able to add 10% to each stat. The system also tells him to try to increase all 5 stats and attain 100% of Kratos' strength. He decides to test it out and tries to add plus 10% stamina. The system informs him that, to purchase stamina plus 10, he needs 50 happy points. And now he has 0. He realizes just how expensive it is. The system continues to explain that he can use HP to purchase skill enhancements too. The current skill that he can use is still Bloody Strike, which is level 1, he needs 250 HP to level it up. He knows he can do anything yet. But if you can farm successfully, then he could gather quite a lot of HP. He wouldn't become super strong and increase his rate of survival too. But also to be thanked by someone feels pretty good. His evil smile alerts Baal, who thinks he is trying to tell him that he'll rip him apart immediately if he doesn't listen to what he says since he owes Kratos his life. Kratos is a really mean demon lord. He didn't save Baal out of good faith. From the top, Kratos calls out his subordinates and tells them he will put the shit into the eggshell and throw it down, so they should make sure to catch it. The subordinates are dumbfounded by what he just said, but before they can get time to think, he throws down the eggshells. And to no one's surprise, all the shit spill out of the eggshells onto the subordinates. Zeph is mentally checked out at this point by all the absurd things he has experienced today. Kratos happily just continues to throw poop at them like some monkey. When they get back to the land of death, the first step to making the place farmland, making manure starts. Seagull shit, egg shells, burnt tree ashes, and preparing the farm soil are all ready. Next is to grind it all together and mix it well. Kratos calls Sergei and instructs her to crush and grind them all together. She asks him why, and he explains, it is because she has a lot of arms and can do it. Sergei angrily declares that she, the cold monarch Sergei's arms are not made for doing disgusting things like mixing shit. But the demon lord also gives her an ultimatum, which is to become the scarecrow of the farm like Azurat over there or do what she's told. The next moment, Sergei is busy mixing manure like her life depended on it. Kratos was scared there for a moment. Honestly, these guys are all hot-tempered, so he mustn't let his guard down. He is the demon lord after all, he must push with guts and force. The second step of making manure is to add water. So he informs Hartok that he wants him to fill the air with fog. He also tries to complain that the stench will become even harder to bear because of the moisture. Kratos just points at Azurat, and Hartok, understanding what he is trying to say, quickly gets to work. After a while, Baal inspects the soil, and Kratos asks if the moisture content is enough. He responds it is soft after being soaked with water. It's just as the demon lord said it'd be. The third step is to place the manure in a dry place and cover it with a blanket made of seagull feathers. But even just making a bit would take a very long time. To make enough manure to cover this vast piece of land, he has no choice but to mobilize all the demons to work. But there's something that is bothering him, but it has to be done now. He will just push ahead with the authority of the demon lord. Somewhere in a demon village, in a house, a man sits beside his sick daughter who's lying in bed. The daughter, named Flute, calls her dad, who is interested to know what she wants. Flute begs her dad to eat her. And the dad tells her not to say something like that. She cries and tells him that she misses her mom. The dad is shocked, and we see a flashback to what happened to the mom. A huge hungry demon approaches Flute, ready to devour her. So the girl begins to cry. As the huge demon opens its mouth to eat, a woman steps in front of the girl, shielding her. The girl is surprised to see her mom, who turns to smile at her, trying to reassure her daughter that everything will be alright. The demon in one sitting consumes the girl's mom. She was not enough to even be considered a snack. For someone who claimed to be hungry, he sure ate light. In the present, the father tells his daughter that if she also dies, then he will not have a reason to live on. Someone suddenly barges into the room, drawing the father's attention. It turns out to be the demon lord and two of his subordinates. The father shouts in surprise, and Kratos, with his usual scary face, says that since he still has the energy to shout, that means he can work. So they should take him. The father tries to argue that if his weak daughter is left alone, it is very likely that a higher-ranked demon will eat her up. But the father is dragged away from his daughter, who is screaming for her dad not to be taken. Little girl, at this point, only Liam Neeson can save the one taken. Kratos asks Zeph how many they have so far, and he tells him they have gotten 20 demons. They still need 30 more. Kratos looks back at the crying girl and remembers her from the game when he used to play it, and how he attacked her like she was a baseball he was trying to hit for a home run. He turns away from her and commands the demons to stop all illegal acts of eating their own kind. He tells Zeph to gather the remaining demons and that everyone should start making manure now. He knows, as the demon lord, the tyranny of this level is needed to achieve his goal. The role of a leader is to bear some sacrifices. Yes, to achieve your goal, you must sacrifice something. In the land of death, the demons are busy trying to make manure. The little girl's dad, Dyrok, asks a friend why they have been wasting their strength for these past few days. Farming sounds so ridiculous. The other guy tells him to shut up so the demon lord doesn't hear him or he will lose his head. Dyrok tells his friend that they are going to die anyway, and if this land really becomes fertile, what are they going to plant anyway? They don't have anything to plant. Kratos appears behind him and asks if he's curious about what they're going to plant. Dyrok became scared upon realizing Kratos was behind him. But Kratos asks the man to just follow him. He thinks back to the day when he first saw a purple flower briefly. He knows that is something they can plant. He shows the demon the purple flower. He tells him that they will plant this particular flower's root for now. Baal and some demons have already dug it up from various places. The demon seems confused since that flower's root can't be eaten. When consumed, it sometimes inflicts extreme abdominal pain and could kill you. Kratos tells him that other than this, there is nothing else that can be chewed in this land. So the experiments to test if it can be eaten or not should be concluded by now. Kratos turns and tells the demon that right now, his daughter should be eating the flower's root. The demon becomes fearful upon realizing what the demon lord said. He starts to run frantically towards his home to check on his daughter. He wonders why they are doing this to an innocent girl. He hopes his daughter will not eat it. When he gets home, he yells at his daughter not to eat it. We see Zeph and Bal are the ones here to witness the results of this experiment. The dad is shocked at what he is seeing. His daughter is okay from eating the plant, and now she doesn't have peeled skin anymore like the last time. She tells her dad that even though she ate the plant, she doesn't feel any pain. He asks her if she is alright, and she tells him that she was also fed yesterday and didn't feel anything. What a cruel lord, using this little girl like a lab rat. Kratos arrives and asks if the man now believes him. A long time ago, humans of a certain land also made that poisonous plant edible somehow. They successfully cultivated it and were able to resolve their hunger issues. The food she is eating is known as potato. Flute is surprised the demon lord is showing such kindness to a lowly demon like her, and she thanks him. The system informs him that parts of his demon army feel happy from eating, so he has received HP for the first time. His HP count increases by 1. Kratos is truly astonished by this and looks at the girl, who seems happy now as compared to the previous times. Just because he is the demon lord doesn't mean he has to always look serious. He shows his signature smile, the smile from hell, and tells the girl that a brat like her just has to eat her fill and grow up tall. Everyone gets scared thinking he is just trying to fatten her up so he can eat her. He truly is an evil demon lord. Honestly, I think bro was trying to smile softly and say something nice, and it came out as a threat to her life. The deepest place in the vast territory of the demon lord, Chavinda and Tor. The territory is divided into 5 areas, and this area is located in the deepest one. It is freezing cold at night and burning hot in a day. This climate reminds one of the Andean highlands. In the past, people in the Andes didn't have enough food to eat. So they ended up eating poisonous wild potatoes. Then, they died. Humans are like that, they are capable of turning things that you ask them not to eat edible. A demon calls the demon lord to show him the potatoes. Kratos calls Bal to crush the potatoes. He leaps into the air to crush the potatoes. Take your time, they are just potatoes, and lightly stepping on them will work just fine too. Bal is using his meteor stomp on the potatoes that were frozen for 5 nights after melting them during the day. This causes the poison within the potatoes to leak out and evaporate. They freeze, melt, stomp, and then evaporate them. After repeating this process, they dry them up and store them before cooking them slightly. They then become wild potatoes that can be eaten. The completion of Chuno. Kratos tells Zeph to gather the farming squad that's making manure. With his signature smile, he informs him it's time for snacks. They'll enjoy eating this, won't they? At the gathering, Kratos tells them that there isn't that much, so only take 2 each. Zeph informs him that there is still a lot of potatoes left. Can't they just make more of them? Kratos doubts there are even that many left. It's far from sufficient if they want to feed the whole demon army. Therefore, they obviously have to plant the remaining potatoes and grow them 1,000-fold. The workers are skeptical about the potatoes since they are poisonous roots that can kill you. Some of them lost their relatives after they ate some. Flute's dad tells his fellow workers that the demon lord has changed it and it can be eaten now. His daughter ate this and was fine after. One of the workers calls him a fool, and that the demon lord with his devilish smile is not someone who will give them food. He is looking forward to them eating it and then rolling on the ground until they die. But Flute's dad, to the shock of the others, ate the chuno. And tearfully yelled out, "Long live the demon lord." After the farming squad observed the first person who ate, they all ate up the chuno quickly and turned to the demon lord. The demon lord gave them food that could be eaten. They start to cheer for the demon lord Kratos. Kratos doesn't really like the chant and decides to change it later on. Zeph thinks that the demon lord makes it seem like he has no doubt that he will be able to make edible food on this barren land. Maybe he can really bring an end to the tragedy caused by hunger. The system then notifies Kratos that part of his demon army feels happy from eating, so he has received 50 HP, making his total 51 HP. Kratos becomes happy by this fact and thinks that's a decent number of points. He can make himself a little stronger now. However, what will benefit him the most right now, he has no idea, so maybe he'll just gather more points first. He will now split the manure squad and the potato gathering squad. Zeph draws the attention of everyone and tells the farming squad to tell this to the people after they get off work today. Tell them that edible food can be grown even on this land. They promise that demons who dig up wild potatoes will be given food vouchers that can be exchanged for chunos. Kratos is not surprised that the annoying aide is just as smart and helpful as he looks. Demons of the village faithfully dig up all the potatoes for their demon king. While one side will keep producing chunos that can be eaten, the other will make manure. Kratos even moved his special lightning rod around the fields, placing it in different spots and striking it to get nitrate for the field. At this point, even M's starting to feel bad for Azurat. Poor guy, all because he is immortal. But Kratos's job is not done. Now that there's enough manure, it is time to move forward to the next step. They need to spread manure evenly across the land. But the land is too vast. The land is just too much for the farming squad, who are surviving only on a few balls of chunos, to cover it. While he is thinking of his next moves, Azurat calls him a bastard and tries to get him to just kill him. He strikes him again to shut him up and wonders if he can get a demon general who functions well even while starving. Even without rest, he can work for a long time. Is there really no choice but to wait for that? Back in his throne room, Kratos asks Zeph if he requested more troops from the Star Masters. Zeph responds with a yes and explains that they have in fact ordered to stop attacking and provide as many troops as possible for farming. Messengers have been sent to the 4 Star Masters who manage each area of the demon land. And at the moment, they still haven't received replies from any of them. Kratos wonders if the messengers collapse from hunger on the way there. It is too tough to spread manure with the current number of troops. In the demon's land, 1st Star area, Cliff of the Dead, a subordinate is informing his lord that according to their scout demons report, the demon lord Kratos has really become an aura farmer. Sorry, he is just a regular farmer. And it seems he has already created edible food. The lord thinks that Kratos has become a farmer because he is scared of him, since he gets stronger when more demons die. So Kratos stopped the war and reduced the number of people dying of starvation to keep him in check. This old ghost is the 1st Star Master Father of the Dead, Saruthal. Look like we have found our first casualty of the series. Ghost Zaddy asks his aide, Vikamer, if he took care of all the messengers who were sent to the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Star areas. The follower responds, yes. The other Star Masters have no idea about the war being stopped and a farm being created. Ghost Zaddy wants the demons to die of starvation, cause only then can they become his food and army. So he swears to kill Kratos and become the new demon lord. We all know what happened to the last guy who went down this road. He calls Vikamer and tells him that he wants him to destroy everything related to farming that Kratos has done. At night, when Azurat is suffering from the cold air, Vikamer appears and states that Kratos is vicious for turning Azurat into a living corpse to make an example of him. You are witnessing how cruel the demon lord can be, and you still plan to destroy his hard work. Some people really need consequences to learn a lesson. Vikamer assures Azurat not to worry. Lord Saruthal likes his aggressiveness, so he will take him in after he kills Kratos. He commands the ghosts to destroy the wasteland till it can never be used again. The ghosts move ahead to destroy the hard work of the farming squad. One of them asks Vikamer what to do with the manure. He tells them to throw them all over the fields and laughs like every villain in action movies. Wait, what? Are they here to destroy or help with the farming? The mischievous ghosts start to scatter the gathered manure evenly everywhere. They even mix it into the ground to the point not even a single manure can be seen. They bury it deep into the ground. Vikamer continues to laugh. But Azurat, who is silently hanging on his pole, is probably thinking to himself, what a bunch of idiots. He remembers the conversation between Kratos and Zeph, where he asked Kratos, what they needed to do now. He explains that the manure needs to be grinded finely and mixed into the ground. Doing so is really tough. So it's impossible for the farming squad to do it. As Fikama rejoices, not knowing he is actually helping with farming, Azuret wonders what these fools are trying to achieve here.
After a couple of hours, one of the wraiths complains that, there's no end to this. And another tells him to, stop lazing around. If there are any bits left unturned, the Demon King Credos will make it a farmland. The first wraith calls the other wraith, number 2718, and tells him he is working extremely hard today. He always lazed around. Oh yeah. That's true, 2718 responds to number 1341. But I don't know. I just feel like working today. When I look at all the work we've done, I feel proud, you know. Like I've done something productive. 1341 silently looks at him and calls him an idiot. The other wraiths around exclaim, today, we will be idiots too. As they work, the sun begins to rise, and they realize that there isn't much time left. One gets excited and asks, aren't we too good at this? Another finally notices the sun. He thinks he lost track of time because of their work. The sun appears and burns them to death. However, they think a death like this isn't bad. They were productive, after all. The wraiths finally die, and their souls happily pass on to the afterlife. Fikama tearfully tells the dead wraiths that they did it. So they should please rest somewhere nice. And now, we'll see how Demonlord Credos reacts. In a barn near the farm, Demonlord Credos tells Zeph that, tilling the field took longer than expected, but they took just as long themselves. Staring at a lot of potatoes, he says, all these potatoes are in a dormant state. The confused Zeph asks what he means by a dormant state. And Credos explains, the potatoes won't grow sprouts. There's no use even if they plant them. It's as if a potato was peacefully sleeping in the earth, and someone just yanked it out by the hair. The potatoes then passed out from the shock, and their biological rhythm paused. Their dormancy will end quicker if he leaves them for about 2 to 3 weeks at 4 degrees Celsius, then suddenly move them someplace warmer and dark. Credos wanted Sergi to imbue them with her cold energy, but she's really angry right now. And Hartok's up to something as well. He won't be able to avoid those two attacking him together, so he better think of another way. He thinks it's okay to raise the storage's temperature to about 23 degrees, so he had the farmer soldiers do squats. But they all got tired, so that's also a failure. The frustrated Credos then says, let's go to the farms, Zephyros. He thinks, I'll do what I can for now. I need to at least imbue the soil with nitrogen. But to his surprise, when he gets to the farm, the dirt is all mixed up, and the stink is filling the area. The whole land of death was ready for planting. He wonders to himself, what kind of miracle is this? The excited Fikama thinks that the Demon Lord is shocked. And he laughs and assumes the operation was a perfect success. But without him realizing it, one of the demon generals, Baal, is standing behind him. Baal then grabs Fikama and brings him before Credos, telling him that he caught him hiding behind the only tree in the entire land of death. Fikama tells Baal to let him go as he struggles to free himself. Credos immediately realizes, that's Fikama, one of the bosses from the Cliff of the Dead. He wonders, did he come here on his own after hearing the call for reinforcements?